Right, well, welcome. Listeners, this is a little Trufax podcast for your ears. The subject this week is RIPD, a film that has been mentioned multiple times on this through the last few weeks, and yet Dan and I have never seen.
I've seen the trailer.
I'd never even heard of it, to be honest.
So, well, between the two of us, we've basically seen it there. Unless one of us decided to be a Judas and actually watch the film.
That was me. And I regret it. And I have not been looking forward to this moment ever since it was suggested.
The concept is that Ryder now has to convince Dan and I that it's worth spending, 2 hours of our time?
An hour and 34-ish minutes, an hour and a half.
Still more than we're really usually prepared to give up. And watch the film, so without further ado, take it away, Ryder.
I'd first off like to say I had to watch this film in 2 sittings.
First of all, let's go back before then even.
Okay.
Why? Why did you watch it?
I was sitting with my girlfriend and we were going to watch... We were looking for something to do over the evening, and there was nothing else that we could find on Netflix. I saw RIPD pop up. I knew that we'd spoken about it and that it was something I eventually wanted to get round to watching. So I thought, hey, let's watch this. She was not happy about that decision. But
what made her be quite reserved about it?
Just because it was...
Read the description? Or?
I think she'd heard about it. I think she watched the first 5 minutes and at that point had already signed out. Where
did she hear about it from? I hope it isn't us that she heard it from.
No.
Thank God. I don't want to be doing inadvertent publicity for this, which is exactly what we're doing now.
Yeah, I heard about it from you.
Oh, man.
It was.
I'm sorry,
I think people knew about the film. I don't think many people saw it. And I'm going to try and change that today. I don't know how. We turned it off halfway through and instead watched Mr Magoo, which is a great film. And I'd much rather like to sell you on that.
I didn't even know they'd made a film of Mr Magoo. I used to watch the cartoon.
It's Kelsey Grammer, as in Naked Gun, Airplane.
Leslie Nielsen.
Kelsey Grammer's Fraser.
Yeah, shit, sorry.
That would have been a whole different Mr Magoo. Can you imagine that?
Posh Magoo.
It was fantastic, Mr Magoo. I really enjoyed it.
You've convinced me on Mr Magoo.
Yeah.
Let's watch that right now. We'll leave Ryder just talking to himself for an hour and a half, and we'll go and watch Mr Magoo.
I finished RIPD, and I don't know if you're after a film that it brings maybe some interesting concepts. Like the concepts of stuff that's going on is quite good. It's like when when a police officer dies, there may be a need for his skills in the RIPD, the Rest in Peace Department. And this is essentially when what are known as Deaddos, who are people who have died and escaped from kind of the afterlife and come back onto Earth, when they are running around the living world, the RIPD have to go and capture them and put them in prison again. And these Deaddos are kind of like demons, essentially. It's never properly explained.
Where is this prison that they're putting them in?
How do you imprison a ghost?
Are
they ghosts?
They have just... they are kind of ghosts, I think. They have these sorts of prisons that... It's just like in this other dimension, I guess. It's never really explained, but it's just like they go through a portal. This portal is in a VCR repair shop because there's a line, it's like, wouldn't you think to hide it somewhere better than this? And they're like, well, when did you last get your VCR repaired? And it's like, and they go through a toilet to get there. It's quite gimmicky. But they put them in prison here, and they're employed by the Rest in Peace Department to go and capture.
Do they still get paid? Do they get benefits?
No.
Do they get to come back to life at any point?
No. And when they're on Earth, they are, although to each other they look like their past or dead selves, not decaying or anything, they're in their good-looking times. They look different to everyone on the outside. So Jeff Bridges looks like a buxom lady who's kind of like a supermodel sort of thing, so he gets a lot of kind of like eyes goggling at him. And Ryan Reynolds plays a kind of elderly Chinese man.
Now, is there more to that joke than what you've just told us?
No, not at all. As in that is pretty much the joke. Their guns, which are like ghost guns, look like bananas.
Oh dear.
Yeah. but you don't see too much of it from that perspective. That's just like a joke every now and then.
It sounds like the premise of Men in Black.
Oh, basically it's Men in Black for ghosts. That's or like the afterlife.
So far, like this film, just to summarise, has got VCRs,
Yep.
toilets,
Yep.
banana guns,
Yep.
and Jeff Bridges.
Yep. And Jeff Bridges has a strange accent. He's meant to be kind of from like the Western times, like kind of the 18th century sort of thing, when America was in its early days. Think Red Dead Redemption, or True Grit sort of thing.
He was in True Grit.
He was in True Grit. He might be the same character.
Is this why he got cast in RIPD?
Is he
Yeah,
trying
like,
to hide
True
him
Grit
herself by hiding behind this accent so that nobody knows he was in this film?
Maybe, like, that would make sense. It's a terrible accent.
Is
like,
he trying to pass himself off as Kurt Russell?
he's got this it's like his eyebrows are permanently like scowling as well, and his lips are quite far back, and he's like got this kind of. I need to take a picture of this face just so you can know, but.
You could just look at a picture of him in the film as well. I imagine that would have the same effect.
Quick Google search.
Probably be more accurate than looking at your face.
I'm a good actor.
Yes, you are. I did think Jeff Bridges was in the room for a second there.
Yeah.
He's obviously fallen on hard times after RIPD, where he's now having to come and promote his podcast in the guise of young British men.
Kevin Bacon's in it.
I thought it couldn't get any better.
The main, I guess, plot is that there's like so it starts with Ryan Reynolds burying some gold in his back garden under an orange tree. That he's bought the orange tree for his wife, planted it right in the middle of the garden. It's a really like awkward place to put an orange tree, but basically him and Kevin Bacon.
This is a plot device more than a real
it is
horticultural choice.
Kevin Bacon and him were partners. They did this mission or something where they stole the gold, and then Ryan Reynolds backs out of it, and Kevin Bacon shoots him. And this like big heist. This is like the first 10-15 minutes.
Yeah. My eyes actually lit up there.
This is exciting.
And then this gold is potentially.
Is it Nazi gold?
Cursed.
It's worse. It's like an ancient artifact that can reverse the dead process. I didn't word that very well, but it's more like so when Ryan Reynolds dies, he goes through this kind of big portal in the sky and sees this big kind of like turning cog thing in the sky, gets sucked towards it, and it's like a blue light. There are loads of other holes that people are being brought through, and there's like thousands and thousands of like people who have just died going through this.
When you say died, do you mean gone through the death process?
Yes.
The dead process.
The dead process. Yeah. Is there a joke there?
You just said dead process before.
Oh.
To mean death.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds a bit like that film, This Is the End.
Yeah,
when
similar.
They get, like, teleported up in those blue lights.
Similar sort of thing.
Achieve rapture, but here instead of achieving rapture and going on to some transcendent life, you just do your job again, but harder by the sounds of things.
And as a beautiful woman or an old Chinese man.
There's a couple of things that don't really make sense. Like some of the physics in this world just kind of go out the window. Like there's.
Do they see God?
No. There's the elders or like the older ones or something like that who are essentially like internal affairs for the RIPD, and you hear a bit about them. You don't actually ever see them. Did you ever see Weeds?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The leading lady of Weeds is the
what's her name?
She's called
Mary.
Proctor.
Mary someone.
I don't know.
Mary Jane
Parker
from
Spider-Man.
She plays
After
all these.
she married
she
Peter
plays
Parker.
all these funny roles, though, doesn't she? These kind of like slightly spaced out. She was in this thing called Angels in America, where she was the wife.
Mary Elizabeth Parker. Is that her name? Is this more interesting than RIPD? Just trying to remember a woman's name. I think it possibly is.
It's a simple Google search away, but let's see how long we can go.
Mary Elizabeth Parker.
Mary Louise Parker.
Mary Louise
Very
Parker.
nearly.
I'm thinking of Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Weeds is very good.
Weeds is a great show.
Apart from like the last 4 seasons.
When they dig that tunnel to Mexico.
Yeah.
It got a bit far-fetched at that point.
And there's the murder with the golf club. And then everyone ages
very
quickly.
She's the main character in Weeds.
She's what are you going to say? You're going to say the
old lady in Weeds.
Ryder.
So yeah, I mean, like it's But the CGI, there's a lot of CGI, and it feels like they went for quantity over quality. It kind of looks like the CGI that you'd get in a video game cutscene.
There was a tie-in video game I seem to remember that may have come before
Was
the movie.
there?
It was,
I don't want to play that.
No, I don't think anyone did.
There's
What would you give it out of 10? Just honestly.
4.
Wow.
Where do those 4 points come from? Talk us through each and every point.
Concept, I quite enjoyed it.
How many points is that worth?
1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Acting.
It's lost out on there.
Story.
Again, that it didn't get much for that. Maybe like half a star just for this. It's very like gimmicky and plays to things that you would expect from a blockbuster film.
Comedy value.
Only in the sense of like the sort of way that giant squid versus giant octopus is funny.
How many times did you laugh?
2.
At it being funny, or were you laughing at the film?
There were maybe a couple of points where it's like that was a funny line, but I mean few and far between.
Is it funny, haha,
As
or
in
funny
funny,
like
ha-ha.
you would sit there and go, oh, that was funny.
Funny way you want to quote
yeah.
it in front of your friends and
Yeah.
they think it's your joke.
The latter, yeah, more
Quite a
funny
line
on
there.
reflection.
How memorable was it?
Only memorable for its poor elements.
Quote me a line. Cool. 0 points for memorability. Catchy catchphrases.
All I could just remember was that stupid accent that Jeff Bridges had to do. Like, I would give it about half an hour.
Right. But that's still only a third.
Yeah.
Its actual runtime.
Yeah, it takes like, I don't know. It's not that. It's a slow moving film, and it tries to have these kind of pulling on your heartstrings sort of it, where it's like he goes back to try and see his wife, but he's an elderly Chinese man, and
She's just not into that.
she's not into. I don't know. She's not into it.
What would you do if you could get that time back?
I'm glad to have seen it. I'm glad that now I can say I have seen RIPD. I will wear it like a slight badge of honour. I'll hide it away under a t-shirt, but it's there.
From the trailer, doesn't he get his RIPD
He does.
badge tattoo? Are you going to get an RIPD
No.
tattoo on your chest?
I
You
am
can
not.
hide under a t-shirt, but it's going to mark you permanently.
No.
As we have marked you permanently
Yeah.
as the only one to see.
I mean, you should see it.
You've boldly gone where no man should ever go.
Or ever wants to go.
Will ever go.
We've brought you back from the edge.
Um,
Has it changed you in any way?
I think it's made me realise that while Ryan Reynolds and Jeff Bridges and other actors who are in it are good actors, they're not always good actors.
Is it their fault or is it the film's fault?
Maybe they have bad agents.
Like, I can imagine that it's this, like, Jeff Bridges with his accent was just... I mean, Ryan Reynolds kind of plays the same person and everything. But Jeff Bridges, like, is quite a serious actor, I would always like to think, anyway. He seems like a nice guy. It feels like he might have just done it for fun, and at some point he did, like, this accent.
How much do you think he got paid?
Not enough.
It came after a bit of a resurgence for him. Like, he was Oscar nominated for True Grit. Was he Oscar nominated for True Grit? True Grit was Oscar nominated.
Yeah, and he did Tron Legacy, which I think was well received.
Yeah, and then he did this.
Yeah.
And have anyone seen him since?
No. But then he's got to make a living, hasn't he? You know? He's got to make his money somehow. To him, it's just a job.
Yeah.
He's probably still running off Big Lebowski residuals, though. He doesn't need more money.
Do they get paid for every single time it gets sold?
Like
Or is that-
royalties.
If he got a good deal, otherwise, he's still probably got more than I'm going to earn in the next 10 years.
Yeah, but he's living the lifestyle. The lifestyle.
The Big Lebowski lifestyle.
That wouldn't be too expensive of a lifestyle, would it?
I don't think he's living that lifestyle, though.
Depends how many people steal his rugs. Really?
He's got to buy all those White Russians. No, they're not cheap.
No.
But yeah, I don't know. Have I sold it for you?
Nope.
No.
No, not even like the concept sort of thing. It's quite an interesting, like the idea of it is quite good.
I think pitching it to myself as like Men in Black for ghosts.
Yeah.
I'd rather just watch Men in Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like things that have got some kind of... Like a nice story that starts off, has a nice middle, something happens towards the end where you think everything's going to go wrong. And then...
I mean, that does start to happen. Like, they make this artifact that's going to reverse the deadening, and like that nearly happens.
Sorry. I mean, you used the word deadening, so...
Can we just go back to Deaddo as well?
Yeah, I know.
That sounds like a placeholder word in the script. They're like, yeah, we'll go back and we'll replace that with a better word later on. Oh, we're actually shooting the film now. Shit, we forgot to do that.
On that subject, though, Avatar used the word unobtainium.
I know.
That's been in so many films.
That's a placeholder.
There must be a real element called unobtainium by now. Someone have discovered something and then
Even the
be
person
self-referential.
that called it that, they deserve a slap. I mean, come on.
It was in... Well, there was another space movie where they have unobtainium. They're going to go and mine a planet. No, it's more recent than that.
Oh.
Space Cowboys.
Prometheus?
I don't know.
Space Cowboys? What was that?
That's just old men going to space. Wasn't Tommy Lee Jones
You
and
cannot ride a horse.
Oh, that
in
was a
space.
film, wasn't it? And it was what else was it?
it was just like old men
Clint
that
Eastwood.
looked like they were cowboys going in a spaceship.
Harrison Ford, is he in
What
that?
you do
I
to
don't know.
Old cowboys, they all get shot into space.
Right, that'll be the next one that I have to try and sell you on, Space Cowboys.
No, I don't think we should ever do this again. This was the first and only Trufax movie club. It's been an unmitigated disaster.
It was awful.
Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
Don't
Bye.
watch RIPD.